Let's be honest, heartbreak rarely comes with a warning label. You give your best, you show up, you commit, and still, she walks away like it meant nothing. Why? Because some women don't love the way you do. They're wired differently. Not because they're evil, but because they've learned to play the game. Coldly. If you've ever found yourself asking, how could she do this after everything I gave? You're not alone. In today's video, I'm breaking down the 5 types of women who will emotionally devastate you and feel zero guilt for it. I'm not here to bash women. I'm here to protect you with truth. Because once you learn the patterns, you stop bleeding from the same wounds. So, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button. This is the type of psychological insight that can save your peace and shield your heart. Ready? Let's begin. Type 1. The emotional opportunist. She didn't walk into your life looking like danger. No. She looked broken, soft, in need of someone who would finally treat her right. She told you stories about men who never appreciated her, how she gave everything, and always ended up with nothing. Her pain was convincing. Her eyes carried sorrow. You felt it in your chest. That need to protect her, to save her, to be her peace. And in that moment, you became her supply. Here's what makes her so dangerous. She doesn't manipulate you with cruelty. She manipulates you with vulnerability. She studies what makes you feel needed, and then mirrors it back. She knows your empathy is your greatest strength and your biggest weakness. So she builds the illusion. She makes you feel like a king for saving her. But she never truly wanted the healing. She wanted the high. You see, the emotional opportunist is not searching for stability. She's addicted to the emotional chaos that comes with feeling rescued, because it's never about the relationship. It's about the rush. The dopamine hit of new attention, deep talks, shared tears, and intense bonding. And when that rush fades, so does her affection. She'll start withdrawing. You'll feel her energy shift. She'll tell you, I'm just overwhelmed, or you don't understand me anymore. But what's really happening is this. Your usefulness has expired, and here's the part that will mess with your head. She'll leave you feeling like the problem, like you didn't love her enough, like you failed her. That's her greatest skill, turning her emotional instability into your responsibility. Let me hit you with a Stoic truth. You cannot save someone who uses pain as currency. The emotional opportunist collects sympathy like trophies. She enters relationships like a guest at a shelter, always needing, never building. And you become her emotional crutch, until she finds another one and drops you without warning. She doesn't ghost you. She fades, slowly, coldly, until you're left staring at old messages, trying to remember who started falling first. She moves fast, too fast. Within days, she's saying you're different. You feel safe. She trauma dumps early. She makes you feel like her emotional lifeline. She praises you in one breath and guilt trips you in the next. At first, it feels flattering. It feels like love. But it's not love. It's need, disguised as connection. Here's the hard truth most men avoid. When a woman falls in love with the way you heal her, she's not really falling for you. She's falling for the version of herself she gets to be when she's near your strength. And when that mirror stops reflecting what she craves, she will blame you and leave. A Stoic man doesn't fall for chaos wrapped in need. He sees beyond the story. He listens to the silence beneath her tears. Because not every wounded soul wants healing. Some just want to bleed on anyone who will stay long enough to clean it up. So protect your peace. Love doesn't mean losing yourself trying to rescue someone who only shows up in pieces. Your empathy is sacred. Don't spend it on someone who weaponizes their pain to control your heart. If you've ever been emotionally drained by a woman who made you feel like her savior, just to leave you feeling like the villain, you've met the emotional opportunist, and the only way to win? Don't play the rescue game. Real love doesn't need fixing. It needs truth, mutual responsibility, and 2 whole people building together. Type 2, the forever single feminine mask. She seems like everything you've been waiting for. Feminine, gentle, emotionally intelligent. She talks about wanting a real relationship. marriage, kids, building a life with the one. She compliments your ambition. She says things like, "Men like you are rare these days." And at first, it feels like you finally found a woman who sees your worth. But here's what you don't see. It's all a performance. This woman wears the mask of commitment, but she's deeply committed to nothing and no one. She's mastered the script. She knows how to say the right things at the right time to the right man, because it makes her feel desirable, valuable, in control. And just when you start investing emotionally, she pulls away, subtly, softly, almost like she was never really there. Here's the reality. She's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to protect herself. The forever single woman isn't single because men don't want her. She's single because deep down, she doesn't trust love. She fears the cost of intimacy. She fears losing her freedom. She fears giving someone the power to hurt her. So, instead of opening her heart, she builds a beautiful illusion of it. Just close enough to feel real, but distant enough to escape when things get uncomfortable. Let me paint the pattern. She says she wants a relationship, but she won't make plans that include you. She says she wants consistency, but ghosts for days when she's overwhelmed. She says she's tired of casual dating, but keeps entertaining attention from men she claims she has no interest in. Her words say, "I'm ready," but her behavior screams, "Stay just far enough away so I don't get hurt." So why does she do it? Because she thrives in potential, not reality, the chase, the fantasy, the validation of being desired without the vulnerability of being known. It gives her power without risk. Commitment? That would require surrender, releasing control, letting you in. And that's something she spent years avoiding. Not because she's cruel, but because somewhere along the way, she was deeply wounded. This woman has become addicted to the image of love, without ever experiencing the truth of it. She'll tell you you're too intense, or things are moving too fast, right after she spent 3 nights in your arms talking about your future kids. It's not your pace she fears, it's your depth. And when she senses you're about to see through the act, she'll self-sabotage. She'll pick a fight out of nowhere. She'll say she's confused. She'll blame timing, energy, Mercury retrograde, anything. But in truth, she was never planning to stay. Here's a Stoic insight to remember. Some people don't fear being alone. They fear being known. The forever single feminine mask is exhausting to chase because she makes you question if you're asking for too much, when in reality, you're asking for the bare minimum: consistency, clarity, presence. She's incredibly warm in the beginning and emotionally distant when it matters. She talks about love, but lives like someone who avoids it. She values chemistry, but resists structure. She keeps her options open, just in case. She's always busy, always independent, but rarely available for actual connection. You'll feel like you're dating someone who's halfway in and halfway planning her exit. And if you confront her, she'll make you feel like the needy one. She'll say, "I just don't want to force anything," as if being honest about where you stand is pressure. The emotional damage this causes, it's subtle, but brutal, because you're constantly left wondering what went wrong, when the truth is, she was never all in. Not with you. Not with anyone. She's mastered the art of saying, "I'm ready," without ever meaning it. A grounded man doesn't chase what looks good on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. He doesn't invest in a woman's words. He watches her patterns, because patterns don't lie. You don't deserve to be someone's emotional placeholder. You don't deserve to fall in love with a mask. So, if you feel like you're being strung along by someone who claims to want a future, but keeps you living in confusion, walk. Clarity is love. Consistency is love. Mutual effort is love. Everything else is delay. Type 3, the passive-aggressive manipulator. She never raises her voice. She never insults you directly. She might even call you babe while doing it. But behind that soft tone is a storm of subtle warfare. The passive-aggressive manipulator is one of the most dangerous women you'll encounter, not because she's loud, but because she's quietly corrosive. She doesn't need to yell to dominate you. She'll do it with a sigh, a silent treatment, a sarcastic, whatever you say. And somehow, you're always the one apologizing for things you didn't even do. At first, it looks innocent. She says she's just sensitive, that she doesn't like confrontation. But here's the truth. She avoids open conflict because covert control is more powerful. She creates confusion instead of clarity. She doesn't express hurt. She expresses guilt. If you forget something, she doesn't tell you she's disappointed. She just says, "It's fine. I didn't expect you to remember anyway." That one sentence, it wrecks you. It makes you question your worth. It makes you chase her approval. And slowly, you begin shrinking to avoid disappointing her again. Here's the twisted psychology behind it. She doesn't communicate to connect. She communicates to control, because if she were direct, if she said, "I feel unloved," or "I'm afraid you'll leave me," then you'd have a chance to respond honestly. But she doesn't want resolution. She wants power. So instead of saying what she needs, she creates discomfort that makes you responsible for fixing her silence. It's emotional extortion, disguised as softness. Why does she behave this way? Because somewhere in her past, she learned that expressing pain directly leads to rejection or weakness. So, she turned her hurt into strategy. She punishes instead of expresses. She withdraws instead of explains. She controls through confusion. And the worst part? She often doesn't even realize she's doing it. This is learned behavior, a defense mechanism built over years of avoiding accountability and vulnerability. She was never taught to feel safe being real, so now she makes sure you don't feel safe either. Let me give you a Stoic reality check. Emotional control that robs others of peace is not sensitivity, it's manipulation. Don't confuse passivity for peace. Don't confuse silence for maturity. If she refuses to communicate like an adult, she's not gentle, she's dangerous. Because over time, this woman rewires your self-esteem. You start doubting your words. You hesitate to bring things up. You walk on eggshells while she smiles and says, "I'm not mad." But everything in her tone says otherwise. And what she won't say out loud, she'll make you feel in 100 little painful ways. She avoids hard conversations but sulks for hours or days. She says she's fine, but makes you feel like you committed a crime. She uses sarcasm when serious issues arise. She won't say what's wrong, but punishes you emotionally until you guess right. She keeps score and brings up past mistakes to win current arguments. It's not a relationship. It's an emotional mind maze. And the deeper you go, the more you lose your ability to speak your truth without fear. And if you challenge her behavior, if you say, "This feels manipulative," she'll instantly flip the script. "Wow, I guess I just can't say anything around you. I was just being honest, but I guess you can't handle it." Suddenly you become the aggressor. You become the problem. That's her game. She flips reality in a way that makes you question your own behavior. And by the time you realize what's happening, you've been trained to doubt yourself just enough to stay. Here's what a grounded man knows. Emotional safety matters. Directness matters. Accountability matters. Love that requires constant decoding is not love. It's a slow erosion of your peace, your confidence, and your identity. The passive-aggressive manipulator isn't dangerous because of what she says. She's dangerous because of what she won't say, and what she makes you carry in the silence. You don't need to beg someone to be honest. You don't need to guess what's wrong every time she gets quiet. You don't need to play therapist in a relationship where basic communication is weaponized. Choose peace over emotional guessing games. Choose clarity over confusion. Because a woman who truly respects you will tell you what's on her heart, not punish you for not reading her mind. Type 4, the validation addict. She walks into a room and the energy shifts, heads turn, eyes follow, and she knows it. She thrives on it. At first, it feels electric. She compliments you, makes you feel chosen, like out of all the guys who wanted her, she picked you. You're the one she talks to late at night. You're the one she's calling different. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. She didn't choose you because you're special. She chose you because you gave her a fix, a fresh stream of attention, a new mirror to see herself in. Because the validation addict doesn't love connection. She loves admiration. Let me break it down. This type of woman is addicted to external approval, not because she's shallow, but because deep down, she doesn't feel whole without it. Likes on Instagram, replies to her stories, men watching her walk by, flirty compliments from just friends. She soaks it in like fuel, and the moment that attention fades, she panics. She starts testing you, withdrawing, posting thirst traps, leaving your message on read, just to feel wanted again. Because she's not chasing love. She's chasing proof that she's still desirable. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. You tell her she's beautiful. She believes it for a moment. You validate her worth. She smiles, but it doesn't stick. Why? Because she doesn't internalize any of it. Your love is just a temporary hit of dopamine, and the minute it wears off, she needs a new dose from someone else, somewhere else. Let's get brutally honest. She might not physically cheat, but emotionally, she's constantly stepping outside the relationship for attention. That one coworker she always says is harmless. That ex she still follows because they ended on good terms. That guy friend who suddenly starts commenting on all her pictures. And if you bring it up, she gaslights you. You're being insecure. It's not a big deal. You're overthinking, but you're not. Your gut is telling you the truth. She's still leaving emotional doors open. The validation addict doesn't want a partner. She wants an audience. She wants to be adored, constantly. She wants you to chase her, forever. Not because she values the chase, but because stillness feels like rejection. If you give her peace, she'll interpret it as boredom. If you give her consistency, she'll see it as predictability. If you give her commitment, she'll test if she can still get a reaction from someone else. Because deep down, chaos equals worth in her world. Let me hit you with a Stoic reminder. What is truly valuable never begs to be seen. It simply is. The woman who constantly needs attention isn't looking for connection. She's running from the emptiness she feels when she's not being noticed. And if you get attached to her, you'll spend your relationship performing, trying to be exciting enough, loving enough, validating enough. But you'll always lose to her deeper addiction, the attention of many over the intimacy of one. She's glued to social media, even during quality time. She posts revealing pictures and plays innocent when guys comment. She keeps backup options close, just in case. She values compliments from strangers more than reassurance from you. She never feels secure with her unless she's being chased, and you'll feel it. You'll feel like no matter how present you are, she's always slightly elsewhere, emotionally distracted, always peeking at who else is looking at her. Here's the emotional trap. You start feeling like you're not enough. You become more reactive, more jealous, more confused. Not because you're weak, but because she's designed the entire relationship around attention, not affection. She'll make you feel like you're competing for her focus. But the truth is, you're already losing to her own insecurity. A validation addict will drain you, slowly. Not with cruelty, but with constant comparison. You'll feel like you're loving her for real, while she's loving the feeling of being wanted. And in that gap, you'll lose yourself. Don't fall for the woman who treats attention like oxygen. Fall for the woman who sees value in silence, loyalty, and presence. Because when you build a life with someone who's addicted to external eyes, your relationship becomes a stage. And one day, you'll realize you weren't her partner. You were just another admirer in the audience. Type 5, the emotionally numb woman. She's calm, collected, hard to read. She doesn't start drama. She doesn't pick fights. She rarely complains. And because of that, you think you found peace. But soon, something starts to feel off. You open up to her. She doesn't react. You tell her how much she means to you. She nods, smiles, changes the subject. You try to connect on a deeper level, and it's like she's not fully there. That's because you're not dating a calm woman. You're dating a woman who has shut down emotionally. The emotionally numb woman isn't cold by nature. She's cold by trauma, by choice, by long years of disappointment. She didn't wake up one day and decide to be this distant. She became this way because feeling too much once destroyed her. And now, she feels nothing at all. As a shield. Here's what makes her so difficult to love. You can't argue with her. Because she doesn't engage. You can't build with her. Because she doesn't invest emotionally. You can't even fall apart with her. Because she offers no space for vulnerability. She's the partner who's physically present, but emotionally unavailable. And what hurts the most? She'll never give you closure. Not because she's cruel, but because even she doesn't know what she's feeling. Here's how this unfolds. She responds, but doesn't initiate. She listens, but never reveals. She shows up in your life, but never brings hers. You feel like you're in a relationship alone, doing all the emotional lifting, trying to melt ice that was never yours to freeze. And over time, her indifference becomes poison. It doesn't explode, it erodes. Let's get real. This isn't just a personality trait, it's a survival mechanism. The emotionally numb woman has likely been hurt deeply by family, past partners, or herself. She's learned to suppress, not express, to retreat inward, not reach outward. Love for her isn't something to enjoy. It's something to fear, because feeling again means risking everything she worked to bury. So she builds a wall, not out of bricks, but out of silence, distance, detachment, and behind that wall, she's untouchable. Now, here's the painful twist. In the beginning, her emotional numbness might seem like peace. She's not dramatic. She gives you space. She's easygoing. But over time, you'll realize you're starving for connection. Because peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of connection. And with her, connection always feels just out of reach. Let me give you a Stoic truth. Still water may look calm until you realize it's lifeless. A relationship where you're not seen, not felt, not emotionally mirrored, isn't love. It's slow isolation. You'll begin to feel invisible. Not because she hates you, but because she's numbed herself to the point where she can't even feel herself. She avoids emotional depth like a virus. Conversations stay surface level. She never discusses her past, just calls it complicated. She doesn't get excited or deeply sad. She flatlines. She disappears during moments of emotional need, yours or hers. And here's the dangerous part. You'll start lowering your emotional standards just to keep her. You'll stop sharing. You'll stop asking. You'll match her numbness just to maintain harmony. And in doing so, you lose touch with your own emotional truth. You may think, if I just love her right, she'll open up. But that's the trap. Because you're trying to water concrete, trying to build intimacy where she refuses to show up. These 5 women, they don't wear labels, they don't come with warnings, and they don't leave quietly. But once you understand their psychology, you stop falling for the mask, the emotional opportunist, the forever single in disguise, the passive-aggressive manipulator, the validation addict, the emotionally numb. Each one can cost you peace, self-worth, and time you'll never get back. But only if you ignore the signs. So the next time your gut tells you something feels off, listen. Because awareness is your protection, and wisdom is your weapon. If this video opened your eyes, drop a comment and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning of mastering female psychology and protecting your masculine peace. You deserve a love that doesn't confuse, manipulate, or drain you. You deserve clarity. You deserve respect. And most of all, you deserve truth.